Okay, so the main reason why I started to do rowing and was so invested in it was because coming into grade or starting to become a grade 8 for Jeppe Boys, my first introduction to Jeppe was the Jeppe rowing camp. So with that opportunity, I was introduced into rowing and how the older boys in Jeppe would um, experience or to show us what it was like to be an actual Jeppe boy. And during that camp, I had the the privilege to go through the whole induction of rowing with being under 13, going to under 14, being able to row, working hard, and with that, I kind of felt a joy because going into JP, my main sport that I was looking forward to was rugby. But then after like 2 or 3 days from rowing camp, I kind of fell in love with the sport because I was able to work things a lot better and also understand things a lot easier with my peers around me and not being scared to be myself. Yeah, so with the selections for the national side in 2020, with that being cancelled due to the COVID or due to COVID like breaking out and everything, I wasn't really that for myself. I wasn't upset or anything about losing that opportunity because at that time I was the first year open, so I still had 1 year left to try and make that team again. But the real pain or thing that hit me the most, that upset me, was actually that the second year opens from different schools and also from JP, they couldn't get that opportunity to go overseas and also get that experience. So I wasn't really upset with that. But the one thing I really can take out of that 2020 selection process was that I was introduced into a whole different variety of rowing um, with the different schools being put in different boats with different schools having stronger boys, bigger boys, longer boys rowing behind me, in front of me. It's kind of, I want to say, frustrating because going into those selections, I was the youngest boy going into that selection, and I had boys from different schools that were triple the size of me and twice as fast. But it was exciting for me. I got the opportunity to row with big guys and actually learn how to row better. And that's what I wanted to do because going in, I just wanted to improve myself and try to be the best I could be in rowing. And then when COVID hit, I was more upset for the other guys, but I was also kind of upset that I wasn't able to show what I could do or what I was able to do. Yeah, so with the with the 2021 selection process, going into it was very hard because due to COVID and that, from I wasn't really able, or my club wasn't really able to do any training or hectic training on water on erg to get us ready for the selection. So at home, at school, when we had the opportunity, we were given a program to try and get us ready for the selection program. And thankfully, I received an invite to the selection trials. And with that, there was also boys that also had the opportunity to trial to be taken into the selection trials as well. And with that, I was happy to do that because then I would be able to go to the opportunity again. But I knew it'd also be a lot harder for me and for everyone else because now we're going into an environment where we haven't raced against boys that would usually race against in like regattas and SA champs. So it was quite interesting, also a bit frustrating because I couldn't really tell who my main competition was or who to look out for. So that was quite scary and interesting at the same time. And then with the erg trial and the selection progress, it was a bit um, scary because on the water we had sculling trials and so much more that I was a bit nervous with sculling trials because it was quite a tough area to do it in because at SA Champs, I can't even remember when, at 2020 SA Champs, I came 5th in the scull. And that was with almost half of the boys that are with the selections now. So I had almost the exact same boys that I was racing against in 2020. So I couldn't. It was quite hard for me to be like, oh, okay, cool, this is going to be fun. But it was fun. It was very interesting to see where everyone else was, even though we didn't train that much, but we pushed ourselves to the limit to make sure we were there. So it was nice. Water trials is a bit sticky for me, but I was able to kind of make it to the top of the board. And with erg trials, I was lucky enough to have one of the fastest times between the boys, so that kind of hopefully put me in a good spot, I thought at that time, but yeah, you did. And with going on to trying to see what boats the squad would like to qualify to go overseas, that was really frustrating because it was hard for the boys to try and understand which was the A boat and which one was the B boat, which was the most priority boat to take out. And at the one time I felt that I wasn't going to be selected because of how I was performing. But when we got into the week of selection and we had allocated coaches, I was able to get Mr. Painter for my coach in the double scull. So it was quite nice because he was able to help us with relaxing, being able to move the boat properly, and also making sure that we don't get frustrated and try to focus on other boats. So it was a real relief there that it was quite nice. And then when it came to the actual selection regatta, it was quite nerve-wracking because we had to race against the 4 that was had majority of the fast boys in, and I was in a double with Jordan Craig. So that was interesting because we had the same combination as in Sashu in under 16. So it was an interesting combination. It was also a fun combination. And then we were also racing against the under 23 pair. And we knew going into the 2K trial and selection that our main goal was to try and be as close to the 4 as we can and maybe hopefully beat or stick with the pair. And coming out of that trial, we were able to hold the pair off and kind of make the 4 work to get past us. And coming out of that day, we in the double we rode really well, and both the 4 and my boat were able to qualify. And I haven't really felt a massive difference in making the national squad yet. I honestly, I feel like it's just another hard process until we actually get onto the plane. I think that's when my body or my mind will realize, okay, cool, we go into Bulgaria, we're now national rowers. So I think it's until when I get on the plane that's going to be the biggest hit. But until for now, it's just working hard, making sure I don't slack off and keep just making sure I don't stay in one spot, make sure that I keep improving. And I'm excited for that because I can't wait to see what I can pull out of my body and what I can do with it, because it's going to be interesting to see what I do overseas and how fast I can go.